Write the number down, 877-PLA-NER. Write the website down too, boomersbraintrust.com. You can find us online right there. You know, when many of us baby boomers were growing up, the roles of mom and dad were, for the most part, clearly defined. If you recall, dad left for work in the morning, maybe with a hat. Mom stayed home, maybe with an apron, who knows, to take care of the youngins and do whatever needed doing. I don't know if it ever worked out that way, but that's how I remember it. Now, over the past like 30, 35 years or so, we know that those roles have changed. While most men still need to bring home a paycheck, women often have greater choices when it comes to what they want to do. Mainly, their choices between family or career. Now, after so many years of this, who's actually happier? I think that's the question. Stay-at-home moms or career women? Boomers, I mean, as boomers, we've got this question, it's in the forefront of a lot of women. In fact, I think the better question might be, do women really have to choose between the two? Can they have both? Beate Chelette is one of our favorite go-to women to talk to about this. She's the creator of the Women's Code and her latest book, Happy Woman, Happy World. We're about 2/3 of the way through this book, Dinah. It's great. It addresses this topic. She's here with us on the Boomers Lifeline to give us just a bit of insight for those boomer-type women who have chosen one or the other or both paths. Hey, Beate, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Johnny. Hi, Dinah. I'm so excited to be back. Thank you for having me again.
Well, we love having you, as you know. Now, the debate about career or family has been going on for so long. I got to tell you, it's hard to imagine that there's much left to say about it, but it's a choice that's sort of turned into a dilemma, I think, for many women who regret taking one side or the other. Is there a better choice in the long run between family and career?
Well, you know, it's a question that we can't avoid to ask ourselves because we always think that the grass is greener on the other side. So the women I work with, on whether they're business women, they wish they could spend more time in their families, and the women that are running their families wish they could be having a better career. So really, it is a very personal answer, and it starts with having to think as a woman about what will make me happy. And the biggest trick here is, let's not worry about sort of the long-term results. Let's focus on what would make us happy now, and let's decide that, because we can change our opinion. Different times require different priorities.
That's a really good way of looking at it. And, you know, it made me laugh because John and I have been talking about this quite a bit. And I remember when I was first married about 25 years ago, I had a female relative who was a very successful attorney, and she'd left her job to raise her family. And I asked her one day about her decision, and her reply absolutely stunned me. She said, "Dinah, things just run better when there's a mom at home." And I remember thinking at the time she had pretty much set the women's movement back like 50 years just with one remark. But in hindsight, I have to say she was right, which I discovered when I started my own family. So do you think family home life can suffer when the mom goes out and works?
Well, you know, let's define what suffering really means. I mean, at first, they all told us that if we weren't going to be dedicated to our children, then our children would suffer. Now, the reality of it isn't so. And the numbers prove that actually children of working moms sometimes do even a little bit better because they're used to more independence and chipping in sooner or later, rather sooner than later. I think that the key here is that it depends on what is important to you. Now, if you want to be a homemaker and then you have to go to work, of course you're going to suffer. And if you want to have a career but you sort of stay at home because you know everybody's pressuring you to do that, then of course you're going to suffer. Women should not suffer. So make a choice on what makes you happy and then do that. And then when that changes, again, it comes to our ability to make choices, and that's what your friend did. At one point, she said, you know what, I had the great career, but I feel like things really changed for me. I want to dedicate myself to my family, and she did. She had both. Mm-hmm. That's the key. We can have everything, just not all at the same time.
Beate Chelette, creator of the Women's Code, is here with us for just a couple more minutes. You know, when the whole women's movement started, Beate, back in the 1960s, I think the message seemed to be that women would feel more fulfilled or happier or whatever if they worked outside the home. And it's just my opinion on that. So they did. But I think if you ask a lot of boomer women these days, they don't seem to be a whole lot happier. Why is that?
Well, there's a very simple answer to that, because when, for the first time when a trailblazer goes out and changes the rules, their whole goal is just, was to get us equality. They didn't know what was going to happen once we had equality. So they achieved their goal. It's our job now, our generation, to define what a good work-life balance is, and obviously we're all struggling with it, but that's why there's so many of us that are now finding and offering solutions to that. We didn't know. Now we are figuring it out.
Well, and we understand about that balance and that we have to, figure it out, but how do you do that without, driving yourself crazy or driving your family crazy in the meantime?
Timing is the key to everything. And in the Women's Code, I've designed this concept, egoism, which is a time-based concept. It basically says that there's an egoism that's usually about 3 to 4 years that determines your main focus. And so if you're a new mother, you're in your mother egoism, please focus on that, do that really well. If you're in a career egoism, and if you are, then focus on that and do that really, really well. Women, let's just stop the insanity of trying to do everything all at once, but slice our lives in smaller slices and consume one at a time 100%.
Yeah, as I wonder, Beate, because you tell people you got a choice. Here's a phrase I hear all the time, you can do it all. That's the whole thing. And then so I think a lot of women especially, and we'll leave men aside for now, but women especially I think, well, if I can do it all, maybe I should be doing it all. Especially if it looks to me like I look around and everybody's got balance, got a great career and they got the family and they're able to put it all together. That's got to mess with somebody's head.
It messes with our heads all the time, because what we don't see is that a woman who may have her career together, her home life may be in shambles, but we don't see that. So we suffer under this I call it the superhuman paradox, where we believe that we need to cook like Gordon Ramsay, our houses need to look like Martha Stewart, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, and it's just not possible.
It's not, and I'll even throw in. So you mentioned TV. I'll throw in social media too. Dinah, we've seen this where you see somebody's status that I got the best. I just had a great day at work, and I have the best kids, and all this stuff, and I think it kind of beats people up, thinking they have to be perfect. Beate Chelette, your book is a Happy Woman, Happy World, and you got a lot of you address a lot of this stuff in there, right?
Yes, absolutely. The biggest key for everything is it's timing. Have everything, enjoy everything, but determine what makes you happy, and then recognize when the time is to have that.
TheWomen'sCode.com. Beate Chelette, thank you once again for being with us. We're going to have you on again, okay?
Thank you so much for having me again.
All right. Take care of yourself. I like her. She's just an awful lot of fun. And she's got a point once again. Boomer women, we got to pay attention to things like this. We're out of time. If you need the Boomer's Brain Trust, you go to boomersbraintrust.com. You can send us an email or talk to us that way. For Dinah Smith and everyone else, I'm Johnny Dean. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.